Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today BRTX just filed an 8K report and I am seeing major leadership changes with a huge twist. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. The company is shaking up its executive team and it looks like a fight is brewing over executive pay. Alright, let us dive into what happened at BioRestorative Therapies Incorporated. This filing, known as a Form 8K, is essentially a public announcement of big events that happen at a company. The company is reporting a bunch of key events that happened around the 8th of July 2026 and some follow-ups in mid-July. This company, BioRestorative Therapies Incorporated, is in the healthcare and biotechnology space. You might know them from news about their BRTX -100 product for clinical trials, but today the big news is about the people running the show. The main meat of this filing is under item 5.02, which talks about changes in company leadership and executive pay. First up, on the 8th of July, a few important changes were made to the employment contracts of their top executives. Lance Alstott, who was the President, Chief Executive Officer and Chairman, Robert Crystal, the Chief Financial Officer, and Francisco Silva, the Vice President of Research and Development, all had their employment agreements amended. The most significant change here seems to be how change in control affects their severance and stock vesting. Before, if the company was acquired or the board composition changed significantly, these executives would get immediate payouts and their stock options would become fully available. Now, those benefits only kick in under a more specific type of change in control, like a merger where the company's stockholders lose majority control, or if all the company's assets are sold. They did not change the definition of change in control itself or what counts as good reason for leaving, which becomes very important later. Now things really get interesting. On the 11th of July, David Rosa resigned from the board. No major fuss there, just a standard resignation. But then on the 13th of July, things exploded. Lance Alstott resigned from all his roles, President, CEO, and Chairman. Robert Crystal also resigned as Chief Financial Officer. Both claimed they were leaving for good reason as defined in their contracts. They pointed to a change in control that they believe happened because of changes to the board in June related to a loan agreement. Here is the kicker. If the company agrees or a court agrees that these resignations were for good reason linked to a change in control, both Alstott and Crystal are looking at a combined payout of about $2.85 million. This includes cash severance, their stock options becoming fully vested immediately, and other benefits. This is a massive amount for a company with a market cap around $9 million. The board of directors acknowledged these resignations, but they are not playing along. They are explicitly stating they do not accept or agree that a change in control happened or that the resignations were for good reason. They are basically saying, we acknowledge you are leaving and claiming this, but we disagree and are reserving all our rights. To add another layer, the board has ordered an investigation into how these employment agreements were negotiated, approved, and amended. They are not going to pay out any severance or benefits yet, other than what is legally required, like unpaid salary. This suggests they strongly suspect foul play or at least a contractual dispute. While all this drama is unfolding with the old leadership, the company is appointing new officers. On the same day, the 13th of July, Catherine Field was appointed as the new Chief Executive Officer and President. She is also stepping in as the Interim Chief Financial Officer, Treasurer, and Secretary. This is a huge role expansion for her. Catherine Field is no stranger to running companies. She is currently the CEO of iSpecimen and has held leadership roles at several other public companies like Logprostyle and Acanda Corporation. She has a solid background with an MBA from Columbia Business School and a degree from Stanford. She was actually appointed as a Director of BioRestorative Therapies by the lender under their loan agreement. So she came in with a specific mandate. The changes didn't stop with officers. On the 13th of July, Isha Randhawa was elected as a new director to fill the spot left by David Rosa. And on the 14th of July, Stephen Brown was elected as another new director, filling the vacancy left by Lance Alstott stepping down as a director. Both new directors are considered independent under NASDAQ rules. Isha Randhawa is taking on important committee roles, like chairing the Nominating and Corporate Governance Committee and joining the Audit Committee. Stephen Brown is joining the Compensation Committee and the Nominating and Corporate Governance Committee. This is significant because the Compensation Committee deals with executive pay, which is central to this dispute. Isha Randhawa comes with significant experience as a registered pharmacist, with a background in pharmaceutical regulation and hospital operations. She also served as a director at Verpax Pharmaceuticals. Stephen Brown, the younger of the two new directors at 32, has a background in software solutions for enterprise resource planning systems and has advised companies on business planning and digital transformation. The board made sure to highlight that both Randhawa and Brown meet the NASDAQ strict independence requirements, which is crucial for running key committees. Here is a look at how the committees are now structured. The Audit Committee has Mika Grasso as chair, Jatinder Dhaliwal, and the new director Isha Randawar. The Compensation Committee has Jatinder Dhaliwal as chair, Mika Grasso. And the other new director, Stephen Brown. The Nominating and Corporate Governance Committee has Esha Randawar as chair, Mika Grasso, Jatinder Dhaliwal, and Stephen Brown. This new board composition, especially with new members on the Compensation Committee, suggests a shift in how executive compensation and departures will be handled. They picked Randawar for her pharma expertise and her prior board experience, and Brown for his business strategy and partnership experience. Finally, the filing lists the exhibits, which are the actual amended employment agreements. So what is the story here? It looks like the hastily amended employment agreements in early July were an attempt to limit executive payouts in case of a departure. Then the top executives, Alstott and Crystal, appear to have engineered a situation they claim qualifies as good reason tied to a change in control, to trigger those original, more lucrative severance clauses. The company's board is pushing back hard, launching an investigation and appointing new directors and officers, including Catherine Field as CEO, who was designated by the lender. This sets up a potential legal battle over that $2.85 million severance package. It is a classic showdown between outgoing executives and a board trying to protect the company's assets, especially for a company of this size with a market cap of only about $9 million. Now, as a quick comparison, when companies face significant management disputes or potential large payouts, it can create uncertainty that investors do not like. For a company this small, a $2.85 million payout, especially if the company is seen as being on shaky financial ground, could be devastating. It is not uncommon for companies deeply involved in such disputes to see their stock price under pressure. Think about situations where executives leave under a cloud and challenge their severance. Often the company fights it, and the legal costs and uncertainty weigh on the stock. For example, while not a direct match, situations involving contested severance packages have in the past led to extended periods of stock underperformance as the company navigates the dispute. My biggest concern going forward is how this legal battle over severance plays out, and what the true financial health of BioRestorative Therapies Incorporated is. The company has a small market cap, and significant cash payouts being contested will draw a lot of attention. What I am actually looking for is the outcome of the board's investigation and whether they can successfully block these large severance payments. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded. If you found this breakdown helpful, smash that like button and subscribe for more. Hit the Discord link in the description too.